It's just restarted.
This meeting is being recorded.
Excellent. Well, good morning, swappers, and any future swappers we might have here this morning. As just been said, my name is Charlie Nichols, and I'm your host for this unbelievable meeting we'll be presenting today. So thank you for all being here. We appreciate you joining us. Now, for any new guests that may be here today, I'm going to quickly go through the agenda for you, so there'll be no surprises as we go through the meeting. Now, we always start our meetings with swap grace. We then acknowledge our member countries. We recite what we call our swap creed. Next comes apologies, and then we welcome our guest speaker and our past office bearers. Then it starts to really get interesting as we chant our very own mantra. I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel great.
I feel great.
Yes, and everybody then gets an opportunity to give their thought of the day. You have 30 seconds or so to introduce yourself. You can give a plug for your business or your job. And also today, we're going to ask you to give a gratitude thought, something that you are grateful for today. Now, we also have a thoughts judge. Now, you could be today's winner. We'll then have a 2-minute break for coffee before we get into the judging of the thoughts, all right? Now, today, again, is going to be a mystery meeting. By that, what I mean is nobody knows who the thought judge is.
Oh.
The reason for that is because I haven't appointed one. So it could be you. It could be you. At the end, I'm going to pick on someone to judge the thought of the day. So listen closely, as I could call on you to tell us who you think had the best thought. And we're going to also call on a gratitude judge to tell us which gratitude thought moved them most of all this morning. Before we then introduce our 5-minute speaker, we have what we call the wins of the week. So if you have something to brag about, get ready to share then, all right? Now, after our 5-minute speaker, we have a couple of minutes of housekeeping from our entertainment director, Sylvia, and our membership director, Greg. And that then leads us into the main event as our keynote speaker, Sandy Forster, is introduced. So buckle up and hang on to your hats and let the fun begin. So I'm going to start with grace first. Dear Lord, we thank you for the food and this opportunity for fellowship, and we ask you to bless this meeting and all swap gatherings around the world. Amen.
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 Now, I'd like to acknowledge the flags and anthems of our member countries. Obviously, we have the Australian flag and its anthem, the New Zealand flag, the Canadian, the USA, the Laos flag, the Philippines flag. We've got Denise Moser in Fiji, representing Fiji, and we've got Derek here this morning representing the UK, and I believe we have a couple of swappers holidaying in Bali, but they're not online this morning. Our next tradition is our swap creed, and I'm going to repeat the swap creed. I do hereby promise and pledge from today onward, I will continually strive and think in a positive manner and have positive thoughts with regard to my profession and the life I'm living. I realize the importance of the right attitude and make this pledge as I'm aware of the truth in the law stating, as a person thinks in their heart, so they shall be. Then we have apologies. Do we have any apologies here this morning?
No, we don't.
No official apologies?
No.
Well, all right. So everyone, please help me officially welcome our guest speaker, Sandy Forster. Welcome, Sandy.
Welcome.
We're looking forward to
Thank
your
you.
keynote presentation.
Thank you.
We also welcome any dignitaries we have here, like our past national presidents or past national vice presidents, state presidents, members of fellows of SWAP, everybody, all members, and also welcome to our guests. Now, if you have a guest this morning, please introduce them now. Gladys, you can introduce your guest.
Or Alfredo is from Hawaii. I met him in Baja, California about 4 years ago. He's a motivational speaker. He's been to Australia on on many occasions. And yeah, welcome, Al. We're pleased to have
Welcome,
you
Al.
here.
Welcome,
Thank
Al.
you.
Welcome aboard,
Thank
Al.
you.
Now that we've welcomed you, we're going to scare the pants off you because we're going to do our chant. And our chant is I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel great. Now, we actually did a video of it a few weeks ago at one of our functions. So we're gonna see if we can run the video and then everybody just chants along with it. So are you ready, Rhonda?
Yep.
Let it rock and roll. Let's see how it goes today.
Go.
I'm alive.
No,
No.
no, great.
It's not happening.
I
It's
feel
just
great.
slow. Oh, here we go.
Well, and I feel great.
I'm alive.
Not-
I'm well.
I don't think it's working.
No.
I'm
But-
alive. I'm well, and I feel great.
Yeah, you've heard of high tech and you've heard of low tech. Well, this is low tech.
We're all looking good.
All right, well, leave it there, and I'll lead the chant. So, are we ready, everybody? On the count of
Yeah, hang on. I've got to
three.
go back on screen share. Stop share. There you are. Okay. Let's go.
So let's do it ourselves. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
I'm
alive.
alive.
Oh,
Mate,
wow.
mate.
Oh, great.
Alive.
Wow.
Great.
Alive.
I'm
alive. I'm well.
I feel great.
Alive.
Alive.
Great.
Well, I feel
Yes,
great.
yes. I'm special.
Ooh.
Mamma mia. Well, I tell you what, at some of our ages, it's good to be able to say that. A lot of our past
did
members,
Greg-
unfortunately, now can't say that. But anyway,
Yeah.
right.
Mahalo,
Greg
thank
wake
you.
up there.
Did
I
you
did
not
that
see the
Greg.
video, Charles?
I honestly believe that chanting that nearly every day in my head, also not only when we have the meeting, has kept me alive a lot longer. But anyway,
Yes.
we're gonna have
I agree.
the thoughts of the day now and what you're grateful for, and I'll kick it off. My name is Charlie Nichols, and I am the co-host of the Lao Lake House, which is a boutique homestay 35 kilometres from Vientiane, which is the capital of Laos. I'm also a volunteer English teacher at Forster English School, where I have 6 classes of about 150 students. Now, for my winning thought of the day, there is very little difference between obstacle and opportunity. The wise are able to turn both to their advantage. All right. And today, I'm grateful for our global swap committee, who do a great job in bringing us swappers together every month.
Yeah.
And by the way, our AGM will be zoomed on Wednesday, the 14th of this month at 6:30 p.m. for all our financial members, and you'll get an email confirming that. All right, so we're ready all? We're going to start with in the order of people booking in. Rhonda, you're next cab off the rank.
Oh, put me last. I'm always first because I test the links.
Well, you're on now. Let's go.
Okay, I am Rhonda Buttery, and I have 2 areas of business. One is providing the best nutrition products in the world with micronutrients, and the other is selling and teaching people how to use the best astrology software in the world. And my thought this morning is, I'm usually thoughtless in the morning. I've got so much else going on in my head. If at first you don't succeed, hide all the evidence that you ever tried. And my grateful thought is I am just so grateful for friends and family, and among that includes a lot of swappers who have just been such a support over a long period of time.
Excellent. Thank you. Our next on the list is from the USA, Ann Carlson.
Better unmute here. Okay, I'm Ann Carlson in beautiful Woodland Park, Colorado, and I'm actually launching a new career. I've just finished a bunch of education that I've gone through at this stage of life, and I'm very excited to be getting into the coaching side of things. So Sandy, I just, I'm joining your ranks as well, and very excited about that. My quote is from Benjamin Franklin. He that is good for making excuses is seldom good for anything else.
Excellent.
And you know what I'm grateful for? I am grateful for technology. Even if I'm alive, I'm well from, kind of had a few glitches or whatever. I'm just really grateful that technology is allowing us to all be together. Yay-ha.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Very good. Next is, I don't know if he's on board, Richard G from New Zealand. Are you there, Richard? Richard?
Nope.
No. Juanita O'Connell from New Zealand. Are you there? No, another one hasn't joined us. Harry, Sunshine
here.
Coast. Come on,
I'm
Harry.
here. I'm alive and well. I feel great. That's what I'm grateful for, being alive. My name's Harry. One of my business is Railway Connects Property, and we don't muck people around. We buy, sell, and investigate information. And I'm grateful for being part of SWAP and have been for a long time, and learned a lot of stuff not to do from all your experiences. So I'm grateful for that.
Thank you. Martin Kennedy from Melbourne.
Hi, swappers and guests. My name's Martin Kennedy. I'm trying to be retired, but it's very, it never happens that simply. I'm always seem to have something to do, which is great. So I'm working on a project with another organisation at the moment to have some software, a software platform written, and that is progressing extremely well, and a lot of people are very excited to be able to see the end result of that. It'll save many hundreds of hours of work when it's completed. It'll just be great. My thought for the day is beautiful things happen when you distance yourself from negativity.
Excellent.
And I'm grateful for the fact that, well, I just had a birthday on Saturday, so it's good to be alive. And as most of you know, 16 months ago, I nearly wasn't here. And so each day I'm grateful for the fact that I am here and making improvements in my ability to recover.
Excellent.
Thanks, Charlie.
Good man, Martin. All the way from New Zealand, Rod Meharry.
Morning, swappers. Yeah, I'm Rod Meharry, living on the east coast of the North Island in New Zealand. And I've been busy. As you know, I designed a hitch post for securing caravans, boat trailers, ordinary trailers. So it's a coupling lock, and it's going faster than I can produce them. That's my problem at the moment, trying to get my production and supply chain organized. My thought for the day is the best way to make your dreams come true is to wake up. What am I? And what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for the skills that I've acquired over the years. And you can see I'm busy with the local body elections here in New Zealand, producing marketing material for the people I support. And I have a number of clients. Well, I do it for free, so I could hardly call them clients, but they turn up here and we produce their brochure, their billboards and their business cards and write their blurb and try and encourage people to vote for them. And in my past, I've been very successful. I've helped to be the highest polling candidate. So may it well continue. Thank you.
Thanks, Rod. Sticking with New Zealand, we have Alex Eason.
Hi, I'm from Christchurch on the sunny east coast, but not too dry. I have various things. I'm involved with some also nutritional products and wellness products, but I also have been of late have been dabbling in some cyber currency, which can be pretty scary stuff. Thought of the day: one thing we can learn from COVID is that we can slow down and survive.
True.
Well, I'm grateful as we went through the bees last night and all my brood nests are full. So all goes well for my honey crop this year.
Excellent. Excellent. Good. Thanks for that, Alex. Now, what about our Vice President, Greg Aldred, who's recently returned a very happy man from Laos back to Melbourne?
How do you know? How do you know that?
I got spies.
It's my turn, Charlie, please. Good
Yeah.
morning, ladies and gentlemen. Greg Aldred, Executive Group in Melbourne. My business focuses on business equipment such as copiers and printers, business solutions for workflow improvement, and air purification products. My thought for the day is do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. And what am I grateful for? As the Honourable President mentioned, I've returned from travelling, and I had the great pleasure of being taken out for a Father's Day dinner with my daughter and granddaughter. So it was just great to spend the quality time with them. So thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Margaret Ash, Brisbane.
Hi there, everyone. As Charlie said, Margaret Ash from Brisbane. My thought for the day is from Jim Rohn, who said, if you're not willing to risk the unusual, you'll have to settle for the ordinary.
Ah, very good.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for lots of things. One is my health, and which is like almost a cliche, and the fact I've been able to travel and see a lot of the world. It's just such a beautiful world out there, and I'm very grateful that I've seen a lot of it.
Excellent, thank you. Yvonne Collier, I think you're in Sydney, aren't you? Yeah.
Yep. A very croaky, a very croaky voice.
Is that cracky or croaky?
Croaky. So Yvonne Collier from Sydney, Australia. Madison Training is my company. So I help people produce better relationships through working together better. And the winds of grace are always blowing. It's up to us to raise our sails. I love that one. And grateful. Oh, I think somebody else said so much to be grateful for, and absolutely true. But specifically, I think I'm going to go with Sydney. That's where I live, and it's really good, in so many ways. And I'm looking out of the window through there, and I'm looking at the Harbour Bridge, and the sun is trying to shine. Anyway, really looking forward to today, Sandy, and everybody. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Susan Cutforth, the Kiwi from the USA.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I actually I've got a local government job. I work for the local county in disease control. I'm an admin. And at the moment, originally we had COVID, then we've had monkeypox, and now we've got an outbreak of measles. So there's always something going on. Everybody's always busy, and I'm very thankful to be alive. Okay, I've got one here on success. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And my gratitude today is I'm very thankful to be alive. So that's me.
Thank you. Glennis Bailey from Service Paradise.
Good morning. Yes, I live at the Surface Paradise. I've been here for 4 years. My background's media and telecommunications. My thought of the day is don't put all your apples in one basket, because while you're admiring the abundant crop and the beauty of the delicious fruit, you don't notice the rotten apple at the bottom of the basket slowly but surely affecting the others. I'm grateful for SWAP, the networking opportunities that has given me in the past proves the old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
No. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Sylvia Morris, the Sunshine Lady.
Hello, how are you?
We're good, thanks.
I'm so sorry I'm late. I just had trouble connecting.
You've been on all the time, Sil. Now you're on twice.
Well, I had to rejoin because it told me I wasn't joined. But anyway, let's just move on.
Yep. Well, need your thought of the day, please. And what are you grateful?
Oh, okay. Oh no, I've done it again.
No, you're there.
I've lost
We
it.
can hear you.
We can
Oh, am
see you
I?
and hear you. Yes.
Just give us your thought of the day.
This one? Okay, my thought of the day is greatness doesn't have an expiry date.
Excellent. And what are you grateful for today?
Technology.
I'm grateful for getting on this morning, I can tell you.
Well, that's good enough for me.
My grandson's here, so he actually helped me navigate the what I couldn't get onto. Yes,
Well,
thank you.
Well, as you're on twice, I hope you get double the value this morning.
I'm sure I will.
Now, back to New Zealand. Ray Treadaway.
Hi, good morning, swappers. It's I'm a guest here today. I was in the swap in the 80s in New Zealand and in the 90s. I'm sitting down here in Waimate, in the South Island in New Zealand, and I've been caravanning for 3 years around the country. So what I'm grateful for is my good health to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And
Yes.
thought for the day is you can't wait for the storm to pass. You got to learn to dance in the rain.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Anne Stuckey. I'm not quite sure where you're from, Anne. Brisbane, I think.
I'm
No,
from
Sydney.
Sydney. No,
Oh,
Sydney.
Sydney. Oh.
No, Yvonne very well.
I
Did
just-
many years of swap
Yep.
in
Yep.
Sydney. I'm retired and busily trying to upgrade my house and sell it. I don't know when I'll ever get around to selling it. It's all a bit stressful, and trying to get workmen in Sydney at the moment is impossible. So my thought of the day, which sort of relates to what I've got to try and focus on, is from Alexander Bell: concentrate all your thoughts on the task at hand. The sun's rays do not burn until brought into focus. And I'm very grateful for living in Australia, the freedom of speech and mobility and our good health system. And I particularly like living in Sydney, which I think has got a terrific climate. And where I am now, the sun is shining. So,
Excellent.
look forward to the summer.
Excellent. Thank you. And next is Jeremy Britton. I think he's now a man about town. I'm not quite sure if he's in Sydney, Brisbane, or where he is. Jeremy. Are you there, Jeremy?
Lost him.
Hello,
Yeah,
Jeremy.
lost him.
We lost him. Ah, all right. Well, what about Paddy Sweeney from the Gold Coast?
How you going, Charlie?
I'm
Paddy
good.
Sweeney. Yes, I was the very first president of SWAP in New Zealand in 1979. So that'll give you a clue. I've been around for a day or two. I'm that old, mate. I have a couple of businesses in Australia. I have a franchise network called Stainbusters Cleaning Systems throughout the country. In New Zealand, we're called, you'll say, Wow Carpet Cleaning. We have carried out over 500,000 jobs in the last 32 years that we've been going. And I am, my thought for the day comes from one of the great achievers, Richard Branson, when he said, if your dreams don't scare you, they're too small. Okay. And what I'm grateful for is I'm extremely grateful for the team that makes my life so bloody perfect, because you can't do it by yourself. If you want to be the king of the castle, okay, well, it's a pretty sad place, I think. Okay. Cheers, everyone.
Excellent. Thank you, Paddy. Jeremy Britton.
Hey, I'm just checking my mute. Quick thought for the day: persistence overcomes resistance. And I'll tell you a little story about that later on when I introduce Sandy. What I'm grateful for at the moment is I'm grateful for markets because there's opportunities in there, and I'm grateful for my puppies because they give me balance, keep me sane, and remind me to get up and move around occasionally.
Excellent. Thank you. And I think Al from Hawaii, I think he's dropped out. Al, are you there?
He's gone.
He's
Al
gone?
had another appointment. He could only stay till 8:15, and I think he actually stayed longer than he intended.
Excellent. Thank you. And for the last thought of the day, I've kept the best till last from the UK, Derek Rowden.
Hello, Charles, and how's everybody?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, and are we supposed to be seeing everybody when they're speaking? Because I've only got you on there, Charlie, but you're an ugly bugger.
Change the view. Up on the top right corner of your screen, you've got a view button and you can change what you're looking at, but it makes a difference what device you're on. If you're on a computer or a phone or an iPad.
I'm on an iPad. I'm on.
No,
I'm on.
go up to the, look for the word gallery and click on gallery.
No, I wouldn't know. I'm a bit of a dinosaur when this is concerned. Anyway, I used to work and work all around the country, all around the countryside, all in Australia. And I retired about 20 odd years ago now because I'm coming up to my 90th now.
Wow.
Getting on. That was next month in October I am. So anyway, my thought is my love is like a cabbage divided into two. The leaves I give to anyone, the heart I give to you. And, grateful, yes, I'm very, very grateful to have Swap around now. As I learned a lot from Swap. I came to doldrums and I became president of the club for 2 or 3 years, and I met Greg. That's an unfortunate thing, but I've known Greg for many, many years. We used to work together. But anyway, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm grateful for this conversation we can have right throughout the world. Anyway, all the very best for all of you, and I love you all.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Now we're going to have 2 minutes, so you can get yourself a cup of coffee, but it's going to be a strict 2 minutes because I want to keep on time today. So go for it now, and we'll be back in 2 minutes' time.
Charlie, did you give us a thought?
Sorry?
Charlie,
No.
did you give us a thought?
Yes, I started off with my own thought. I started it. Do you want me to repeat it or no?
I was listening, Charlie. Something about obstacles and opportunities.
Thank you.
I think I was
Rhonda
probably
wasn't
helping
paying
Sylvia
attention.
get on at the time, so I got your name, but I didn't get your thoughts.
Thank you.
Never mind.
Does any of you here remember Brian Lucas?
Yes, New Zealand.
Yeah, I spent a bit of time with him in Invercargill this year. He's just getting over a bit of COVID, but he's okay.
Yeah, she's on my Facebook page, so we talk occasionally.
Yeah. Where are you based now, Charlie?
Well, at the moment, I'm on the Gold Coast, but I'm going back home to Laos on October the 10th.
Okay.
So I want to stay behind for the grand final here for the AFL.
Yeah, you can't miss that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've booked my ticket for the grand final week to fly to Melbourne. I'll stay with my sister. I want to go to the grand final parade and obviously the grand final. And our mutual friend Walter Vecchiet is a Swans member, so he's going to try and organise some tickets for me.
Who's in the
tickets?
Who's in the final this year?
We don't know yet. Don't know yet. But I'm kind of hoping.
Tigers.
I'm kind of hoping it's a Collingwood Lions grand final, but I don't think it can be. I think they'll meet if they keep going through. They'll meet.
That's mine. my
Who?
team, Collingwood, throw
Collingwood.
me on. I went to the first AFL final, which won in 1990. That was the first.
That was their 13th grand final, I think they won.
No, but it was the first. Because we were Victorian.
As the AFL. Yeah, I was there.
Yeah,
I was there against Essendon. Against Essendon.
I didn't see you.
Oh, I saw you, but you didn't have the beard, and I didn't quite recognise you.
No. All right. Well, I'll probably take this off for my birthday anyway. This is only just a fortnight's growth here, so I'm sorry about that, people. If you didn't know me before,
yeah. Right, folks. Now,
all the best.
We're going to be judging the thought of the day. However, I'm going to give the judge a couple of minutes to think of it while we do 3 wins of the week. And I've decided that our thoughts judge this morning will be Rod, me, Harry. And after Rod, we're going to have a gratitude judge. And I think the gratitude judge can be our oldest member online today, which is Derek Growden. But first, we're going to have 3 wins of the week. So has anybody got a win of the week?
Yes, I have.
Yes. Who was that?
Did you want me to speak
Sylvia.
first?
Yes, Bill.
Yes. Well, I've actually confirmed our next convention date and place, and we're just putting the budget together now, just waiting on one more call, and very happy to say that it's going to be at Boona in Brisbane, and on the 13th to the 17th of April 2023. So that's our swap.
I thought it was the 20th of April.
Remember, I texted you or rang you to let you know we've changed it?
I thought the committee meeting all right, 13th.
No, the committee meeting date is actually wrong because no, it's not so much wrong. It was right at the time, but I had to change it because we would have been returning on Anzac Day.
No worries. Excellent. Thank you. Any other wins of the week?
Charlie, can I just share something that's popped up on my iPad? It relates to Paddy Sweeney, and he's asleep by the look of it. And it says, Paddy runs into the pub and shouts to Mick, "Someone's stolen your car." Mick says, "Did you see who did it?" And Paddy says, "No, but I got the registration number."
True story, Paddy.
Very good. Thank you. I have a win of the week before we move on. For those that know that my daughter went to the Commonwealth Games in para bowls. Well, she came back with a silver. And so we're
awesome work.
I've got a win as well.
Yes, excellent.
My granddaughter, who graduated from high school in the end of last year, had about 3 months holiday until her father reminded her that holiday is something you do between things. And then she got herself a part-time job. She was thinking she was doing really good, and he gave her both barrels with how she wasn't, and the next day she had a job. Anyway, the story is that last week she was promoted to permanent part-time, which was a big leap from casual.
No, they're
Yeah, very good. Thank you. All right, well, we're going to judge our thoughts this morning. I think we might start off with the gratitude thought. Derek, who do you think had the best gratitude thought this morning?
I wish you'd have told me. I didn't write them down. Yeah. But I thought our friend in Melbourne. Which
one? Martin? Or
Martin.
Greg?
Martin. Oh, I wouldn't give Greg it, because he doesn't. He only talks to me. He should. Don't you pitch my thought for the day. Anyway,
right.
He's a great. I think Martin, because he's gone through a lot. I think he's grateful for everything. Well, so am I, actually. So all the best.
Excellent.
I was going to give it to me, but I can't give it to me, can I?
Yeah. All right,
There's
Martin.
no rule that says you can't, Derek.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
That's right.
Martin.
What can't means you can't, not trying.
Thank you.
Righto, now we move on to the thoughts. And Rodney, Harry, how did you go? Did you judge anybody, mate?
Yeah, I did, Charlie. And, one of the problems of being in swap for many, many years is you hear thousands of quotes, right? And I heard a lot this morning that I'd heard previously, so I wasn't excited by them too much. But the one I really liked was Derek's, a bit of poetry. So, Derek, if you'd like to repeat your quote.
Ah, right. Well, thanks very much indeed, Harry. It's, my love is like a cabbage divided into two. The leaves I give to anyone. The heart I give to you.
Yeah, beautiful.
Excellent.
Excellent.
All right, folks.
Prizes in the mail, mate.
I
Excellent,
said
thank
that
you.
at a convention I went to up in Queensland. That was because I went to every convention anyway. When I joined, the first day I joined, I signed up to go to a convention. I think it was about 1980 something, no, 1979, I think, something like that. I went to every convention I could after that. But it was, I think that's what I like about it, because you get around and you see countries and you see people who have made it in this life. I just missed out, actually.
Excellent.
No,
Thanks for that, Derek.
I'm going for it now. My wife had a stroke a few years ago, and I'm a carer, so I don't get out and about much at all these days. So I still manage to get a game of golf though now and again, which I'm pleased about. So I'm very pleased that I can still run around at golf.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Derek. We appreciate it. Now, it's my job this morning, and I'm pleased to introduce our swap member this morning, Glenys Bailey, who is now a new committee member, and she's going to be looking after business, basically business. She's the business program manager or business director, I think we should call her. I've known Glenys for 30 odd years, and she was very instrumental in starting CanSwap back in the day. So, Glenys, would you like to take it away?
Thank you, Charlie. When I first came back to Australia in 1983 as a single mum, and I met Charlie and Peter Freckleton, and they gave me my first job in Australia. I lacked a lot of confidence. I came from a very violent domestic situation, so I basically fled New Zealand for our lives. And I met Charlie, and anyway, Charlie and Peter saw some potential in me and really put a lot of time in training me and helping me. I became a social worker in a very short period of time. I was also selling the Book of Life with Charlie, who basically taught me all my sales skills. From there, I went into telecommunications with no knowledge whatsoever, and was an Ericsson agency on the Gold Coast with my ex-partner, and we built up one of the strongest agencies for Ericsson and PABXs. From there, I sold the business in 96 and was appointed to North Queensland sales manager for World Exchange, which is an American company. I was supposed to be working as a manager over in Atlanta in America, and was on my way there when I was in a train accident in 99. So that ended that. Hence, I went back to Cairns and started up. I was very instrumental in starting up the Cairns Swap Group. I started in Swap in 1987 on the Gold Coast. And basically, it was what I contribute my success in business, in telecommunications and media. It gave me confidence. It helped me to establish contacts and networks all around the world. And so I want to use the experience that I've had to help Swap develop and grow all around the world. Now, part of my background was a voluntary vice president for the Emeritus Regional Charity Foundation in Rockhampton, where I did a lot of grants for communities and non-for-profit organisations. I've also had a lot of experience in International Tier Fund as on a voluntary basis as the administrator for New Zealand and Australia. So that's given me a lot of opportunities and knowledge in building and developing networks. And I totally believe the success of any one particular person is not so much their knowledge, but their network of people around them. So my aim and my goals with SWAP and the committee is to develop SWAP more on a business level, whereas we can apply for grants and government grants and community grants, which will help with funding for certain, hypothetically speaking, if we open up a SWAP group starts in Hawaii, there's no funding available, or it's just a gathering. Or we can financially invest money in sending people over there to help them establish it. We can apply for grants for community workshops. We can, and to help businesses. And my aim is to help businesses and attract businesses into SWAP, so that we collectively, and those that have had lots of experience in SWAP and sales, we've all got a background and success stories. We're in this changing environment of business and how things are operating in the world today. We need to evolve, and we need to help and support younger people coming up in businesses today. We need to change, we need to evolve, we need to change the way we do things, but we also need to impart our knowledge. And I believe that SWAP is it's a major vehicle for helping develop business people and supporting business people. We've got a lot to offer, and SWAP is now diversifying with salespeople with a purpose, students with a purpose, and seniors with a purpose. And later on down the track, we're talking about services in the community with a purpose. So there's a lot of work to do, and there's lots of opportunities. And I think with all of us, with our success stories and our experience, we can assist the world today and businesses to make a difference and to grow and to develop. So basically, that's my role. And for those that have been in businesses, I'm going to be contacting you later on to see whether or not you're interested in becoming a mentor to businesses and to individuals. And if anybody has any ideas or connections, please let me know. That's basically it. And I thank everybody in SWAP. I've had precious years with SWAP, lifetime friendships, and I really do believe SWAP has the ability to make a difference. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you, Glenys. We appreciate that.
Well done.
Now, before we introduce our keynote speaker, I'd just like to call on Greg Aldred, our Vice President and Membership Director, to do a 60-minute on our membership. Thanks, Greg.
I should have prepared better. Yeah, well,
somebody's clapping you.
Yeah, thank you. With regards to membership, in joining the group, what's available to you? As you can see, we've got the monthly Zoom meeting led by our senior esteemed president, guest speakers, fabulous guest speakers, and the content that they're delivering is great and growing through the group. You get access to the Youth Swap Director. That position we're yet to fill, but we're committed to launching Youth Swap down the East Coast of Australia. You get access to our new Business Director, Glenys. You just heard from Glenys this morning, and there's some great value available to you if you're looking for business contacts or assistance or guidance. You're free to approach Glenys on that. We offer a combined package for couples if they want to join. It's 1.5 The rate's 1.5 for a couple if they want to join. You get our annual convention, which the details will be released shortly. But at the end of the day, we need to build our membership, and that's where we need to rely on each other to introduce guests on a monthly basis. Membership's $59.95. We have an expectation that you're free to attend 3 meetings, but after the 3rd meeting, we would expect a membership application for you to continue to join us on a monthly basis. That's it. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Greg. Now for the main part of the meeting, I'd like to call on Jeremy Britton to introduce our speaker.
All right. I'm hoping that everybody has read their email and so knows all the things about Sandy that she officially publishes on her website to say how amazing she is and all her background and all her wonderful achievements. I'm going to give you a little backstory. I first heard about Sandy back in the days before crypto was even invented, when I was a little financial planner and getting started on the Sunshine Coast. I'd just moved there. And I heard that Sandy had this big audience of these wildly wealthy women who wanted to learn about how to make loads of money and that sort of stuff. So I thought, I'm going to contact Sandy and ask if I can come along to the meeting. So I phoned Sandy and said, hey, I want to come along and speak and teach these women about, you know, stocks and shares and all that sort of stuff. And she said, no. And I went, okay, no's and not now. I'll just call her again next week, and then the next week, and then the next week. And eventually she just said, stop calling. Okay. So I sent an email about a week later, and then another email. And finally I got an email back saying, please stop emailing us. We're not interested. We're a women's group. And I said, well, you know, there's not too many female financial planners around, so I'll put myself forward because, you know I'm not female, but my mum was female, and my 4 sisters are female, and my daughters, I think, are both female. And I still couldn't get past the gate. And there's this stop emailing. So I sent her a fax. And most of us will remember fax machines from back in the day. And after I sent the fax, I got this phone call from a young lady who worked with Sandy called Harry Kay. And Harry Kay said, you're really annoying, but you're also persistent. Let's go out for a coffee. And I thought Harry was going to beat the shit out of me just for being annoying and wasting all the time in the office. But I met with Harry. Harry was lovely, even though she found me very annoying. And ultimately, Harry introduced me to Swap, where I became the president of the Sunshine Coast chapter. And we had a big launch where we got Alan Pease along to speak. And Alan's a sexy young man. You know, he's written a lot of books about relationships and things like that. So we had hundreds of business women turning up to our event and then all wanting to join Swap. And Sandy found out that we had this audience of hundreds of business women all in Swap, and she contacted me and said, hey, I'd like to be a speaker at your event. I was like, interesting. So like me, Sandy is very, very persistent. I think when she started on the Sunshine Coast, she was working about 12 days a week making swimwear, if I'm correct, and selling it during the summer months and making it in the winter months. And meanwhile, working on her mindset so she wouldn't have to be working 12 days a week and generating a lot more business income and fabulous results for herself and for many others. So I think the tagline was from welfare to multi-millionaire, which is quite amazing and speaks to the power of mindset and also her own persistence. So thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.
That is hilarious. To be honest, I don't remember that whole story. Oh my gosh, I was so busy back then. I would have said no to everybody because we had so many people contacting us. So I'm glad you're persistent. I'm glad that everything's come full circle and here I am speaking out. So basically,
okay, Sandy, before you go, I'm going to mute everybody. Would you please unmute yourself? Thank you.
There you go. Okay, so I guess, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me along. Thank you, Harry. Actually, I didn't get a chance to say my 2 things, so I don't know if a speaker does, but I want to. So my thought for the day is be realistic, expect a miracle, because that's how I like to live my life. And gratitude. I am really supersonically grateful for my gorgeous friend, Harry. She is such a blessing in my life. She is such a support. And yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to my beautiful friend, Harry. So thank you, Harry. So what I really wanted to just touch on is, I guess, give you guys a little bit of inspiration, because I know, honestly, being a business person is probably the hardest thing on the planet. Like, being an entrepreneur, there is just so many ups and downs and roundabouts, and it can really do your head in. Like, it's not like you go along every day and you know, work or don't work, as most people don't, and then you get paid every week no matter what. It's really up to you and your efforts and what you do on a day-to-day basis that then brings in your income and then creates the lifestyle that you want. And I feel really, really supersonically blessed, because obviously I was at a point in my life where I was $100,000 in debt and on welfare. And as Jeremy said, I had a business and I was designing and manufacturing swim and gym wear here on the beautiful Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia. And I really loved that business because I loved the colour and the fabric and the designing. But when it came to the business side, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And I just got further and further in debt until I was, as he said, $100,000 in debt and on welfare. And I just didn't know how to change things. And I feel really lucky that I was able to discover that your mindset is everything. So I loved the way you start these meetings, because you've got that chant that you say first up, and then you share some gratitude and you share a thought, because it's so important. Because I honestly didn't think I would ever be able to change my circumstances, change my life. I didn't have a clue how I was ever going to get out of being in so much debt, like $100,000 of debt, and I was on welfare, which at the time I think was $7,500 a year. Was it? No, $15,000 a year. $15,000. Was it? It wasn't very much, whatever it was. I get confused because I tell this story a lot on podcasts, and I'm usually talking to American audiences, so I have to convert it. But yeah, I think it was $15,000 a year. So actually, was it? Anyway, whatever it wasn't enough. And I found every single day I was just going backwards. I was just going further and further in debt and getting more and more stressed. And the more backwards I went and the more stressed I got, the more I focused on how I didn't have any money. And this is the thing, the more I focused on how I didn't have money, the more I created it. And this is something that I learned after I started working on my mindset, because I think a lot of people think mindset is just how you think, but there is so much more to it. So I don't know if any of you have heard about something called the law of attraction. I'm assuming that most people that are into mindset work have maybe heard about it. It became very famous through the movie The Secret, and they since brought out a book about it. But I was teaching the law of attraction before it became really popular. And basically the law of attraction is all about what you think about, what you focus on, where you put your thoughts and your energy is what you then attract back or create in your world. And so when I discovered that, it was like, oh my gosh, like all my life I've been focusing on what I didn't have and how I was struggling and how things were really bad and how I had so much debt. And so therefore I was just creating more and more of that in my life and focusing on that, creating more, focusing on the more, creating the more, and it just goes round and round. When I discovered that I could think differently, it completely changed everything, because suddenly I realized that instead of focusing on having all that debt and focusing on the car that leaked so much, it actually grew a plant in the back seat when it rained, focusing on how I wasn't able to ever travel, which is something I love to do, focusing on all the things I couldn't do. Instead, it was like, what do I really want? And this is what I teach people. Get really clear on what you really want. Spend time focusing on what you really want. So for me, what did I want? I wanted a house that was my own, that I didn't have to rent and the rent didn't go up or they didn't want to sell it and kick me out. I wanted a car, as I said, that didn't leak so much. I wanted to be able to travel the world. I wanted to be able to have a cleaner that came in and cleaned my house. I wanted really simple things. I wanted to be able to buy fresh flowers every week, or buy a gym membership, or be able to go to meditation classes. I just wanted to be able to live a life that I enjoyed. And, you know, by focusing on those things instead of how my life was, it felt like a bit of a fantasy, a bit of a dream, a bit of a, you know, what's this going to do? But what I discovered is when you combine neuroscience with the law of attraction, and the law of attraction is just based in quantum physics. It sounds very woo-woo out there, very hippie, new age kind of thing, but it's actually based in neuroscience and quantum physics. And when you bring all that together, what happens is you start to rewire your mind. And this is the part that I love the most. And even people who don't want to believe in the law of attraction get this, and they suddenly realize how powerful your thoughts are. So at the base of our skull, we have a little thing called the reticular activating system. It's like this gateway. Because if you think about it right now, if I said to you, what can you see when you look around you? Well, if I looked around me now, I could see a computer and a phone and a light, and I look out the window and I can see palm trees, and I can see a spring-fed dam and some ducks in the dam, and I don't think I can see any kangaroos today. They're not around here. It's a bit early in the morning. But I can see, you know, and I can see a desk, and I can see pens, and you know, my brain can only take in so much. But if I was to actually sit down and write out every single thing I could see, my brain would explode. It can't process that much information, because not only I can see the palm trees, but I can see them moving in the wind, and there's different colors within the palms. There's darker bits where it's in shadow, and there's lighter bits where the sun's shining on it, and there's bits that are kind of going a bit yellow, and then there's bits on the very end that are going brown because they're dying, and there's little spider webs in there, and if I look close enough, there's tiny little spider, and some of the palms are moving very quickly in the wind, and some are moving very slowly. So that's just one thing that I'm looking at. So again, if you were to take in everything in your surroundings, your brain would just, it just couldn't handle it. So the reticular activating system is this little gateway. And basically what happens, it only lets in what you have told yourself is important. So how do you tell yourself what's important? Well, what you give your energy to, your time to, your focus to, what you talk about, what you read about, the things where you put a lot of energy into something, you're saying to your brain, this is really important. This is the things that I want to see more of in my life. So what happened, if I go back to my experience when I was $100,000 in debt and on welfare, at the time, all I was focusing on was how I didn't have money, how I was really struggling, how I couldn't pay the bills, how stressed I was, how I was hopeless at business, how blah, 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 on and on. So my brain would go, okay, what do we need to let in? She is always focusing and talking about and thinking about how she has no money. That's really important. Let's show her all the things in her world, in her experience, that will make her have that, will live that, bring that into her world. Like, let's only show in all those things, because everything else, how to make money, how to become abundant, how to become wealthy, how to live the perfect life, that's not important to her. She's not focusing on, she's only focusing on these things. Let that in. And when you understand that, when you understand that your brain, everything's out there, the opportunities that you need to grow your business, the clients you need to grow your business, the connections you need to create success, the opportunities, like everything is out there waiting for you. But you may be training your brain to completely shut off those things and only let in the things that you're experiencing now. Because what happens normally is you experience life, you notice that, you think about that, you talk about that, you create more of that. So you just keep living the same old, because you don't actually understand that you have the power to rewire your mind, rewire that reticular activating system to tell you what is really important to you, so that then you begin to see that in your life instead. So when I discovered that, as I said, I made a list of all the things that I wanted to create in my life, how I wanted my life to be. And yes, I was still struggling. And yes, I was still $100,000 in debt, but I would spend time every day visualizing and affirming and focusing on what I really wanted to see. And I'm telling you, like, I still have to sometimes pinch myself of how my life just changed so quickly. So when I started to really focus on what I wanted to see and ignored how my life was, it's not like, it disappeared overnight, and it's not like I wasn't living it, because I was $100,000 in debt on welfare. But I began to spend more time and more energy and putting more emotion into how I wanted my life to be instead of how it actually was, because that's the thing. There was a book written, it was in 1910, so a long, long time ago, The Science of Getting Rich, written by a man called Wallace Wattles. And in that book, there is a line that he says, which I absolutely love, because I think this is the missing piece for most people. And that book was actually, for those of you who have watched The Secret, that book was the inspiration for the movie The Secret. So in there, he says, by thought, the thing you desire is brought to you, but by action, you receive it. Now, what that actually means is when you think about what it is that you want, you're basically sending the order out into the quantum field. And we have the ability, science is starting to prove this. It's so exciting the way science is catching up with what the ancients have known forever. But we have the ability to change what are called waves in the quantum field into particles. And waves are just the unseen, the metaphysical. Particles are the seen and the physical. And so when we put our thoughts out into the quantum field, that's basically, as Wallace Wattles says, by thought, the thing you desire is brought to you. So your thoughts go out into the quantum field and create what it is that you want, and it's brought to you, but it doesn't turn from the metaphysical, from the unseen, from like nothing but energy in the quantum field into the seen, into the physical, into our reality, until you take action. And I think a lot of people are sitting around meditating, expecting the money to drop into their lap. But that's the thing. I'm huge on teaching people to align body, mind, and spirit. So what you have to do is you have to align your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. So the thought sends the signal out, the order out into the quantum field. Your feelings are what becomes magnetic and draws back to you what you want. But by action, it's when the thing that you're desiring can actually come into the physical world. So you can sit around on the couch and think, oh, I want more clients. I want to make more money. I see my business growing. But unless you're actually out there doing the work, then the results won't come. So when you align body, mind, and spirit, what happens is you have ideas, you have thoughts, you take action on them, and you get the results. It's so much easier. Everything sort of flows. And I'll give you an example of that. I remember after the movie The Secret came out, and we couldn't actually buy it here in Australia because there was something to do with, I think until it aired on TV, they had some sort of contract and it wasn't allowed to be sold in Australia. But I couldn't watch it, therefore, because I live in Australia. But there was something about that 3-minute trailer about this movie. Didn't say it was a law of attraction, didn't say anything, but I just thought, I really want to see this movie. And I want to contact the people at The Secret. So I sent off an email and basically said in the email, I think what you're doing is amazing. I haven't been able to watch the movie. I don't really know what it's about, but I think it's going to change the planet. I'd love to send you a gift. And I got a email back from the producer of that movie. And she said, I don't know how I got your email. We get so many. Somehow yours came to me. I would love a present. I would love a gift. So I sent her my book, How to Be Wildly Wealthy Fast, which is all about money and manifesting and the law of attraction. And I sent her my home study course. And this is back in the day when it was actually a folder, a binder full of CDs and printed off pages. Sent her that. And then I get an email and she says, did you watch The Secret and then write your book? And I said, no, my book's been out a while. And she said, oh my gosh, it's just so in alignment. And then we just got talking. And then, funnily enough, a couple of days later, she contacts me again and says, I'd love to film you for The Secret. Now, The Secret was already out. So it was already selling millions of copies around the world. But they had some contract thing with someone in there. So they ended up filming me for a whole day I didn't actually end up filling that place of the person they took out of the secret, because you've probably noticed my energy is quite up. And the person who they were taking out of the secret, their energy was very slow and flowing. And they put the movie together energetically. So they needed to fit someone in there that would, so it would be like the movie would flow. So they ended up using the two women already in there. But my point is, after these conversations, I said to her, well, why can't you sell to Australia? And she told me about this thing that they had going on until it aired on TV. I said, well, can someone in America please sell it to Australia? She said, sure, no problem. But, we can't. We just can't sell it to Australia. And I just thought, at some point I remember getting a US company set up for something. I think I was going to buy real estate, but never did. I've got a US company. Can I bring it in? She said, sure. So that little idea, that connection, because I could have thought, oh, I want to contact the people from The Secret and give them a gift. And I could have done nothing, but I took action. I sent the email. I followed through. And then when the idea came, instead of doing nothing, I took action. I asked her and she said yes. And as it turned out, that idea made me something like close to $3 million in about, I don't know, it's probably about 6 or 7 months, importing The Secret into Australia, not just selling it to people in Australia, but all the stores that wanted to buy it in bulk that couldn't get it, I was supplying them. So what I'm trying to get at is, what happens is when you change your focus, when you change the way you think, when you change basically your mindset, these opportunities are out there already. You suddenly see, and when you take action, they can bring you results like you wouldn't believe. But it really is a matter of you, first of all, making the choice that you want to do something different, getting really clear on what it is that you want to do. And I'm not just saying, for instance, obviously everyone here is pretty much business people, so they have their own business. It's not just about what do I want to see in my business. Go beyond that. Like, why do you actually want to have a successful business? And I know for me personally, I wanted to have a successful business so that I could live a lifestyle I absolutely love. And, I'm here on the Sunshine Coast. I have a beautiful home, a few acres, spring-fed dam. I've got kangaroos that eat on my grass in the afternoons. I get to, get up in the morning and I walk along the beach and I walk my dog and come back. And I live a beautiful lifestyle. And then my business is all about helping people to rewire their brain, rewire how they think and create abundance in their world. Like, basically teach them everything I know about manifesting and mindset and the quantum field and neuroscience. And honestly, that's my business. I love it. I love what I do. And so for me, I didn't just focus on my business and how much I wanted to make. I focused on what would be the end result. Because what happens when I make that money? What do I get to do? So when you want to make that list of how you want your life to be, don't just write your business goals. Incorporate what you'd be doing with that money, how your life would be different, how you'd be, all the things you'd be experiencing, how you'd be feeling. Because when you do that, when you get really clear on what it is and you generate all that excitement, that energy, that anticipation about how your life can be, that's when your order goes out into the quantum field. And when you start to take action on ideas that come, that's when the universe allows you to begin to create this most amazing life, most amazing business, changing lives. It's really cool. And so, as I said, I guess I really just wanted to jump in and give you a little bit of inspiration and let you know that no matter how your life is now, no matter how bad it is, no matter how good it is, you can make it even more amazing simply by getting really clear on your thoughts and taking actions and feeling like the things that you desire are already in your life. Because when you align your body, mind, and spirit, as I said, that's when the magic can happen. So that's it.
Thank you for that. Martin, I'd like to call on you to thank our speaker. So please remember to unmute.
Sandy, that's awesome. I'm sure that everybody is inspired by what you've told us this morning, and certainly you're so energetic. Are you sitting on a
I'm sitting on a ball.
or
Yeah,
Ah.
I tend to swirl around and move. Sorry. It's good
I
for your
saw you
back. Really
bouncing.
good for you.
I saw you bouncing around through the whole meeting, and I'm thinking, what on earth is she sitting on? I thought
big
you were on a
yoga
pogo
ball.
stick. I thought you were on a pogo stick when you started out, but anyway, it's okay. I'm sure that everybody has appreciated the words of wisdom that you've shared, and the fact that you have such determination and tenacity to, in actual fact, follow through on what you thought was going to hopefully be valuable, and obviously did become so valuable to you in the law of attraction material, and getting the opportunity to sell it to bookshops and what have you. That's amazing. What a turnaround. That is so inspiring. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And what I'd like all the swappers to do is give Sandy unmute yourself, please. Rhonda. Bertha, Rhonda. Can you unmute everybody, please?
We can unmute ourselves too, can't we?
Yes, you can.
Okay, let's everybody unmute themselves. Okay, all together now. Let's give Sandy a big hearty round of applause. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you. Now,
well done.
Before you go, Martin, could you please tell us who our next month's speaker is?
Next month, Jody Colvard is, or Colvard, I should say, who is the founder of the Frequency Media Group, which includes radio, podcasts, and TVs. So she's got a business that's been running for in excess of 20 years. She's worked with numerous celebrities, including and organisations such as Make-A-Wish Foundation, the Soul of Africa, with Nelson Mandela, Brad Pitt, and Sir Richard Branson. Television station broadcast with Good Morning America, Oprah, and Dr. Phil.
Excellent.
So everybody come and join us next month, and invite your friends. You can share the link that Rhonda sends out to everybody, because you'll need to tighten your seatbelts in order to keep up with Jody.
Excellent. Thanks, Martin, for that. So once again, that was an excellent meeting. Thanks everyone for participating. Now, the date of our next meeting is Tuesday, the 4th of October. And as per normal, we're going to finish with I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel great. So come on, do our exercises. Get our exercise. Get your arms flapping. Come on, girls, get those arms flapping. And on the count of three, I'm alive. I feel great. Excellent. Thanks, folks. You can hang around and do a little bit of networking if you like, but as Martin said, please invite some guests for next month's meeting. We would really appreciate it. So,
and
thanks
remember
to all.
the committee AGM on the 14th.
Yes, and you'll get a notice on that anyway. And
The
for
notice
voting
went out
purposes-
yesterday.
All right. For voting purposes, you have to be a financial member, but you still can nominate for the committee. Thank you.
Great job this morning.
Thanks all.
Thanks, Sandy.
Have a good week. Bye.
See you, Derek.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, Derek.
Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.